Alright, so I'm going to get you started on laying out the convenience outlet receptacles onto certain rooms in our plan. We'll pick some of the more difficult ones, and the rest of them you should be okay on your own, laying out the receptacles for each one of those. Now the first thing we need to do is we need to make sure that we consult the specifications. So let me flip over to the specifications here. Now if you take a look at what we're given here in the specs, these are the 2013, November 2013 version of the specs. Let's take a look at the convenience outlet recommendations. Now these are recommendations, okay? It's not set in stone, but they recommended requirements. This is what the customer wants, what the client ideally wants, so we need to make sure we try and achieve that. So for offices that are less than 40 meters squared, so say 8 by 5, 8 meters by 5 meters, minimum of 1 outlet for every 6 linear meters of wall. Let's look at that 6 linear meters there real quick. That 6 linear meters says that for the distances between outlets, basically, you need to have a minimum of, or maximum, sorry, of 6 linear meters. You don't want any more than that. And we'll take a look at our plan. We'll see that we're probably going to achieve less than 6 meters, but for the most part, we're going to aim for that less than 6 meter or less distance. Offices that are a little bit larger require a minimum of 4 outlets for the first 40 meters squared, plus minimum 2 outlets for each additional 40 meters. Now, don't get bogged down with the numbers on this one. Don't worry about it. You'll see how it actually, if you just use common sense, and I'll give you a few techniques that you can use, you'll see how this will all just work out. Okay, with certain offices requiring individual study, and we'll see what those offices are, but the general rule is 1 per wall minimum, unless an office is really small. Now the other thing we want to look at is manufacturing and storage. Minimum 1 outlet per bay. And the electrical is surface mounted, so it's easy to add on later. And surface mounting basically means that it's not embedded into the walls. It's actually mounted on the surface using conduit, which means that they can pull that conduit out and they can redo it anytime they need. So if the needs of that room change, it's very easy for them to be able to change those needs. So you want to make sure you reference these specifications. The other thing that we're going to look at as well is corridors. So all points have to be within 7.5 meters of an outlet. And washrooms, obviously, we need to have 1 outlet per washroom, so that somebody needs to bring in their shaving or blow dryer or something like that they can actually plug in the bathrooms and do that. And the bathrooms have to be ground fault protected, which is GFI. And we've got those symbols all ready to go. So let's flip back over to our AutoCAD drawing, and let's grab a copy of our actual symbol, and let's place just a few of them. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to place, I know I'm going to need a minimum of 4 because we need 1 per wall, right? So I'm just going to place 4 in here, and I'm going to flip them so that they are 1 per wall here. And I'm just going to highlight them all and flip them in the directions, in the directions that we want them to go. Okay, so we got this one going that way there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place them sort of at the midpoint of all the walls. So I'm going to place them literally on every midpoint. I'll create another one there. Another of these ones here, because I want to actually place it at the midpoint here. Now I know this is going to seem like a little bit of overkill at first, and it is, but I want to show you how we can use this as one of the techniques for actually laying out all of the outlets in a wall. So every usable wall space, I missed one here, every usable wall space has its own outlet now, if you look at the way that's laid out. Now we're going to notice that there's some that are obviously too close together, so we're going to have to eliminate at least one of these. And there's some where there's a little too much spacing there. So let's just take a look and see what our 6 meter line looks like. So I'm going to create a P line, and I'm going to draw it from here along the outside wall and come to here. Now I know that's not going to be exact, but we don't need it to be exact. And we're going to see how much we have here. So we have a little over 6 meters. So I would say that's just a little bit too far. A little bit too far away there. So just to give you a little example of what's not right, that's a bit too far away. Now I don't want to move this one, but I think I got a little bit of room to move this one. So let's move this one over a bit. Let's move it maybe, say to there, and that leaves us with a little bit of space left over where we can actually now create another one that would sort of be an equal distance away. And I think this is actually a decent layout here. Now let's come back to this corner. We've got too many here. I think this wall is actually bigger than this wall, so I'm going to delete, make sure I don't delete both symbols. I'm going to delete this one here. What I might do is I might actually bump this one a little closer to the corner. And that just sort of keeps it sort of an equal distance from both sides of that wall. And you'll notice here that we likely have less than 6 meters to this outlet, less than 6 meters to this one, and we have less than 6 meters all the way around. Yet every wall is pretty much covered. So if you imagine a piece of furniture, a desk, or something in one of these offices, you can pretty much place your desk at any point in this office, and you will have easy access to one of the outlets. Okay, now it may not be convenient. You still may have cords. Like if you imagine somebody has a desk in this corner here, they're probably going to plug into this outlet here, and they might use this for plugging their phone, or maybe there's another desk that's going to be placed here. So it just kind of gives you a little bit of an idea. So again, the process, let's repeat that for this room over here, is we're going to place enough outlets for each of the four walls of the room. We're going to change the orientation of those outlets to the wall that they're going to be on, like so. We're going to place them in the midpoint of every wall. And of course I'm going to need some more here, but I'll get to that in a minute. But place it at the midpoint of every wall. Looks like I'm going to need an extra one on this wall over here. Now you might be saying, well, this wall is the same as this wall. And yes, it is when you're in that room. Essentially it's the same wall. But because it's divided by a door, we actually want to make sure that we treat it as a separate wall. Same thing with this one over here. We're actually dividing this wall by a door. So we're going to treat it like its own wall. All right, so now we have one per wall. And if we just sort of start from one direction, you'll see that these are a little too close together. So I think I could probably delete this one, and I might move this one over just a bit. Say something like that. I think this one's okay there, but we might want to bring this one a bit closer because it's a little too far away. And I'm going to make a copy of that one now, and I'm going to place it against this back wall here. And I'm noticing that I got a little too much space here as well. So what I think I'm going to do here, now this is sort of an unusual room because of the fact that it has so much wall space at the back here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to more evenly space these outlets here. I might bring this one even just a little bit closer to the corner and space this one just a little bit more evenly here. I even got a little bit more room along this way, so we'll just kind of do something like that. And I think that that's actually pretty good. I know it's a little bit closer to this outlet than it is to this one. I don't think that's too big of a deal. I might move this one over just a wee bit. If you want to do a check, if you're concerned about any of one of those dimensions, then just grab your P-line command, which creates a line that you can actually measure the total distance of, no matter what shape it is. And then take a look at your properties for that afterwards and see, yeah, we're more than enough there. All right, so that room, again, it's a little bit more of an odd shape, and I think that's going to work the best. Okay. Now for this room, you'll notice that this outlet here, it's a pretty small wall space. I doubt that there's going to be anything on that wall space that can't be managed by that particular outlet there. So I'm actually going to take that out. So this is one situation where we don't have an outlet on one of the walls because really it's not necessary. What I might do is just move this one just a little bit closer, create a little bit more of an even spacing there. And yeah, I think that room's taken care of. Let's take a look now at room number 11. Room number 11, same sort of thing here. This is more of a hallway, but you know what? We'll follow our same rules and we'll take a look at it in the end. So I'm going to create one for every wall. This one, obviously, we're going to be deleting that one, so I won't need to worry about putting one there. Let me just go ahead and move these. I'll place this on the midpoint. Move that. Might as well place it while I'm here. I can find the midpoint. I think I'm so close with the... oh, there we are. There we are. I think this room, yeah, again, this wall, it's too small. There's not going to be any outlets. If you put an outlet behind there, it's not going to get used. And we'll take a look at this wall here. And this wall, again, it's more of a hallway more than anything. So I really don't think that we need one there. I think we probably, if we deleted this one and moved this one maybe a bit closer to the corner, and I think that would actually be able to handle for both walls. So again, looking at that usable wall space. If I'm not sure, I'll take my P line and I'll just draw a line like so and just measure, and it shouldn't be any more than 6 meters. So yeah, 4.26 meters. So I think we're pretty good there. Okay, so now let's take a look at room 12 and 13. Now room 12 and 13 are actually the bathroom. So the bathroom is going to require GFI, and that's ground fault interrupt. And we'll grab our regular outlet here. It's a ground fault interrupt, which is basically if somebody were to drop a blow dryer into the sink, then that's going to, it's going to turn the power off immediately so that nobody gets zapped or killed or anything like that. So you kind of have to picture what the layout of this bathroom might look like. Now I've just placed those for now just sort of arbitrarily, but if you imagine coming into this bathroom, where you would likely have the vanity, it's probably going to be close to this door right here, and you probably have a toilet over here. Again, you don't need a shower. This is just an office building. It's not going to have a shower. So you probably have your vanity and you'll have your toilet. Same thing here. When you walk in, you normally walk in and have the vanity right near the door, and then maybe your toilet at the end. So this is probably not the best location for this one. Let me flip this around, and I'm going to place this one against this wall here. I'm actually now going to move this so that we kind of connect it to the actual outlet itself. Same thing with this one here. I want to more or less connect it. Whoops. Turn my snap off for a second. More or less connect it so that that outlet is identified as a GFI outlet. And that's important. Those bathrooms need to be GFI outlets. Next thing we're going to look at is room number 14, the shop. Now room number 14 is kind of an odd duck. Reason being is that it's going to be the shop, which is going to have lots of equipment in there. So not only are we going to have our motors, but we're also going to have individual outlets against the walls. Now these are movable outlets. If we go back to our specifications here, this is where we have our manufacturing, where it's surface mounted and easy to add on later, and minimum 1 outlet per bay. We're going to have more than that. Like what we probably are going to end up having is we'll probably have at least 2 per wall. So I'm going to create the ability for us to have 2 per wall. And we'll take it from there. So now I'm going to place these, or rotate them first. And I'm going to place them on the exterior wall. So for the corridor, if we go back to our specifications and look under corridors, all points within 7.5 meters of an outlet. So let's take a look and see what 7.5 meters, let's see how long that is. So I'm just going to draw a line that's 7,500 long. So we can see just how long a 7,500 meter line is. So if I were to, just place outlets all around the outlet, or all around the corridor here, if I were to place a bunch of outlets around the corridor, you're going to find that there's too many, right? So we need to try and limit the amount of outlets that we have here. We don't need that many. So I think we're going to need probably 1 in this corridor here, in this section of the corridor. We're going to need 1 in the foyer for sure. We're going to probably need another one somewhere in this foyer, maybe if we do 7.5 meters, probably somewhere around here. And we likely may need another one, for that matter, around here. And if we look at, we've got this outlet which can kind of help to bridge the gap here. We might need another one over here. Now this is just preliminary. We're going to do a little bit of work on this to see how close we are, but we'll just kind of use this as a bit of a guide to begin with. And what this is for is, think about the machines that they would be using in the particular office building. They'll be looking at floor polishing machines. Those machines are likely going to require 15 or 7.5 meter long extension cord. And so we need to make sure we have enough outlets within that space to be able to accommodate that. Okay, I think we may have it pretty good here. So again, let's check with our P line, and let's just do one, say, from here to here. Now that shouldn't be any more than 15 meters. We've got 10 meters there, so I think we're going to be pretty good. So let me just delete. Actually, maybe what I can do is I can, yeah, I'm just going to delete that. Do another P-line command, and let's see how much we have now. 7.5 meters for any point along that. Well, yeah, we'll be fine there. I'm not worried about that. Might even be too much. Let's try. Let's just try seeing what the distance is here from this outlet through the corridor to this outlet. Let's see if it's less than 15 meters. Yeah, it's a bit 19, so it's a bit more than the 15 requirement there. Because 7.5 meters from any point, which means I can go 7.5 meters in both directions, which is a total of 15 meters away. Last thing that we're going to look at here is room number 15. Room number 15, because it is the mechanical room and the electrical panel is right there, it's really easy for anybody to to tie in electricity to the electrical panel. So near the panel, we're probably not going to require very many. Again, we're going to stick to a maximum 1 per wall here because we don't need as many, and we're going to keep that a fair distance away. Normally, the electrical panel comes with, or they usually position one outlet on the electrical panel itself, and so that's pretty much all we're going to need for this particular room. It's just 1 per wall maximum. Okay, and the outlet again, or the panel comes with an outlet, so we don't need to worry about that too much. So that should get you going on in terms of laying out all of your individual plugs or outlets, convenience receptacles. You'll have to do the rest of the rooms yourself, but they should be fairly straightforward. And next we'll look into circuit labeling, so labeling those circuits. That'll be the next video.